it seems to me that there's been a huge regulatory divergence between
Yeah.
the United States and the European Union. And so probably the UK is, we're rather closer to the EU in terms of how we see that ESG driver. I think Canada is also closer to the EU and to the UK in terms of seeing that ESG as not really a virtue signaling exercise, but actually a really fundamental building block of business. So, and I think ultimately we have to be clear that and I don't want to stray into politics too far anyway, but the US administration's view that economic success is driven by drilling and burning things, it is slightly hard to reconcile with the actual environmental costs that we're seeing from climate change, from catastrophic events, even within the United States, to say nothing of its wider impact on the world as a whole. So I think the view, certainly on this side of the world, is going to continue to be that that is a fundamental part of doing business. And you will see that the EU is the biggest trading bloc in the world, and you won't be able to build batteries for automotive in the EU unless you have followed high standards of ESG compliance. Now, this isn't entirely an altruistic thing, Anya, because obviously ESG can also be a barrier to entry. So in many ways, it's driving the competitiveness of EU companies because it is making it more costly for polluting companies to do business in the EU. So I think, to your point, whilst we see and the US administration putting enormous pressure on companies and fund managers to desert ESG principles, that is not going to happen on this side of the world, because I think there is this commitment to ensuring that the long-term sustainability is part of the business model. And so we see accounting standards, stock exchange requirements will continue to drive that level of compliance. But also, young people not really accepting, won't go to work for these companies if mining companies are, polluting monsters. You won't be able to get the talent to compete